Hi, good morning, Neil Shawn here. I'm at one of my all-time favourite historical royal palaces. It really needs no introduction, but in case you've never been here, of course, behind me is the splendid Kensington Palace. It's the London home of the Duke and Duchess of Cambridge, amongst many other royals. In fact, if you love your royal history, and let's face it, who doesn't, it's really an amazing place to visit if you get the opportunity, because literally every corridor, door opening, is full, quite simply, of history, royal history. And when you walk through there, you're literally walking through, history. It's an amazing place. Now, my first sort of claim to fame of when I came to London was I came here to Kensington Palace, and very quickly I met one of the most all-time famous and favourite royals. Now, we're talking, of course, about the late great Princess Diana, whose statue was recently unveiled just across there in the sunken garden. But my first meeting with Diana was very brief, naturally, and it was really, totally unexpected, simply because Diana at this point was still an active member of the British royal family. But she didn't go around like today with so much security. And you have to remember, this is pre-social media, so people didn't take pictures so much apart from the paparazzi. Now, Diana, according to the press, had been in Kensington High Street, which is just down the road there, and she'd been shopping. And she was literally coming back through the bottom gate of Kensington Palace. To meet someone that famous, so close, and simply world famous that you'd only really seen on pictures, was quite simply breathtaking, as was her beauty. She had the most stunning blue eyes, I'll never forget that, and she smiled and waved. She knew the value, of course, of the public, and the public adored her. But right behind me here right now is a fascinating thing that you can see. In my career, I've been lucky enough to meet many famous people. One of them was one of my all-time greats, a person really who is so iconic to so many people through so many decades, simply because of the movie roles that he's undertaken. But he has a great association with Princess Diana too. Have you guessed who I'm speaking about yet? If I said the words Saturday Night Fever and Grease, just two movies, then you know, of course, I'm talking about the Hollywood superstar John Travolta, who I absolutely adored and think is a brilliant actor, but more importantly, a super nice guy too. Now, he told me that when he was asked to take Princess Diana onto the dance floor, it was the most nervous thing of his life. Not because, of course, he's not a great dancer and fabulous looking and all of those things, but he said, he knew every step that he moved, everybody was going to be looking. But he did reveal this. He said, look, in the end, it was her that took the lead. She basically calmed him down and said, oh, don't worry, I'm used to this, let's just have fun. Now, if you love the idea of seeing that particular dress up close and personal, it's currently on display here behind me at Kensington Palace. And it really is a theatrical dress. It's something that really is quite breathtaking and well ahead of its time. In fact, you could still actually wear it today. Now, the famous black dress was designed by Victor Eldenstein and, of course, was the star of the White House dinner that night. But as I say, it's one of those sort of pieces, when you go and have a look at it in the flesh, it hasn't aged at all. And it proves, of course, that Princess Diana found her real own style eventually. Lots of people grew up with a generation where she had the fluffy collars and all that sort of stuff, and she still looked beautiful, but of course she was finding her style. And those particular pieces behind me here, in fact, as I mentioned before, the Diana wedding dress, a lot of people wrote online after I said I liked it, it wasn't very nice, it was this, it was that. It is of an era, that was the era when people wanted to dress up and play princesses. And even though she was a princess, Princess Diana was no different. John Travolta finished with this beautiful quote. He said that whenever he wanted to think of Diana, he simply smelled the bottle of perfume that he knew she wore that night. He said, and every single memory came back to him, however nerve-wracking that memory may have been. We sure do thank John Travolta for creating an iconic moment in the life of the beautiful Princess Diana. But for me, of course, to be able to say I've met them both was truly awe-inspiring. Neil Shawn, Kensington Palace, London.